Good morning, everyone, especially to our beautiful instructor. Good morning, ma'am. Today I am going to discuss about the assessment can be categorized based on who conducts the assessment. So first, what is assessment? So assessment, it is the process of collecting, interpreting, and using information to understand and improve students' learning. So it helps the educators measures how well the students are learning the material or the lesson. So it will identify the strengths and areas for improvement and guide the teaching strategies. So we all know that there are two types of assessment. So first we have formative assessment. So what is formative assessment? Formative assessment is an ongoing assessment during the learning process. For example, quizzes, discussion, and assignment. So it is used to provide feedback and support learning of the students. Next, we have the summative assessment. So what is summative assessment? Summative assessment it is the final evaluation of the student's learning at the end of a unit of course. For example, is the final project and standardized test. Again, there are two main types of assessment, the formative assessment and the summative assessment. So these two type of assessments are very important. Okay, uh, let us proceed to the next. So again, the assessments can be categorized based on who conducts the assessment. So first we have self-assessment. Okay, what is self-assessment? Self-assessment involves the students evaluating their own work or learning progress. So it encourages reflection, promotes responsibility, and help learners recognize their strengths and areas for improvement. So it reflects on strengths and weaknesses, identifying areas for improvement, setting goals for personal or professional growth. Next is evaluating progress and achievement. So again, the self-assessment, it is a process where the students evaluate their own learning, performance, or progress. It will encourage, diba? It will encourage them to reflect on what they have learned, identify their strengths and weaknesses, and take responsibility for their improvement. So the student might ask themselves, did I understand the topic well? Hmm. What part was difficult for me? What can I do to improve next time? So, self assessment is an important tool for developing reflective and motivated learners. Next, we have per assessment. So, per assessment is when students assess each other's work. This strategy develops critical thinking and collaboration skills as learners gain insight by reviewing their classmates' outputs and performance. It will encourage active learning and engagement, develops critical thinking and evaluation skills, fosters collaboration and teamwork. So it also provides diverse perspective feedback. So again, per assessment is where the students evaluate and provide feedback. Okay, it will provide feedback on each other's work or performance based on set of criteria. So it allows learners to actively engage in the learning process by analyzing and reflecting on the work of their classmates. This peer assessment, it encourages collaborations and mutual learning. It helps them develop critical thinking and communication skills. It also provides the students with different perspective on their work. So, for example, so after a group presentation, students may be asked to give constructive feedback on each member's contribution, clarity of speech, or creativity based on a rubric. Okay. Next, we have the teacher assessment. So, what is teacher assessment? Teacher assessment is the traditional and most common method where teachers evaluate the students' performance. So, it is a systematic based on established criteria and often influences academic grades. So one of these is the quizzes and exams, assignments and projects, participation and engagement, written tests and assessment, performance tests, and presentation. So again, the teacher assessment, it is the process where the teacher evaluate student learning, behavior, skills, or progress based on observation. It could be test, assignment, and other forms of evidence. It is the most common form of assessment used in classroom. So, in teacher assessment, it is very important because you can measure student understanding and mastery of a lesson. So as a teacher, so it will identify learning gaps or special needs of the students. It will inform us what is the teaching strategies and report progress. So teacher assessment is very important for tracking learning outcomes and supporting both the students' growth and instructional effectiveness. Okay, next we have the external assessment. So, what is external assessment? External assessments are conducted by individuals or organizations outside the school, such as standardized testing agencies. These assessments provide an objective evaluation of the students' competences and are often used for benchmarking or certification purposes. Again, the certification purposes. So, an organization outside the school evaluates student performance. So, example of this is the students take the National Achievement Test. So, and administered by the Department of Education. Okay. Next, we have assessment can be done based on format. So, traditional assessment methods include standardized tests, quizzes, and examinations. So, they typically focus on evaluating knowledge through multiple choice, true or false, and short answer question. Again, the traditional assessment method include standardized tests, quizzes, and examination. So this assessment often focus on recalling of facts, memorization, basic understanding. So the traditional assessment can be useful for evaluating knowledge retention, assessing basic understanding, and identifying areas for review. So again, the focus of this assessment is to recall of facts, memorization, and basic understanding. Okay. Now let's proceed to alternative assessment. So what is alternative assessment? Alternative assessment use non-traditional methods. For example, is the projects, portfolios, and performances. So this type measures not only content knowledge but also critical thinking, creativity, and real world application. So, again, this alternative assessment measures not only the content knowledge of the students, but also the critical thinking, creativity, and the real world application. So, it measures deeper learning, encourage the students' engagement, develop transferable skills, and it provide a more holistic understanding of the students' ability and prepare them for real world challenges. All right. Next, we have the authentic assessment. Authentic assessment require the students to apply what they have learned to real-world tasks or problems. Examples include studies, simulations, and hands-on experiments. So they aim to assess the practical application of skills and knowledge rather than rote memorization. So again, this authentic assessment aim to assess the practical application of the skills and knowledge rather than rote memorization. So, authentic assessments aim to mirror real world challenges, develop transferable skills, encourage deeper learning, and prepare students for professional or real world settings. So it helps the students demonstrate their skills and knowledge in meaningful and applicable ways. So again, so these are the assessment that can be categorized based on who conducts the assessment. So again, we have the self-assessment, peer assessment, teacher assessment, external assessment. Assessment can be done based on format, alternative assessment, and authentic assessment. So that would be all. Thank you for listening. And once again, good morning.